What's up, everybody? Before we delve into this Marvel Legends wave, I wanted to let you know up front it's not the best. I do have to thank Tyler F. for procuring me most of the set, and also Justin E. for making sure I could get a Spider-Gwen. I appreciate both of you guys' help. Well, they're not very good, so I appreciate some of you guys' help. JK bros. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Absorbance, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Marvel Legends, Absorbing Man, Build-A-Figure Wave, Spider-Gwen, and Absorbing Man. We'll start with Spider-Gwen. She comes with two accessories. This head sculpt, which is pretty nice. It could have been painted better, of course, but you know, it couldn't. But the paint that is on there is applied really well. The reason why I say it could have been painted better is because the head sculpt is like spot on. So had it come with some extra paint, maybe some wash on the hair, stuff like that, I think it really would have brought it to life because it's a great head sculpt. That's where the ball peg goes in, and it sits on top of this collared piece so that like her hood is down. Extra, it's an extra bit of thought. And the line work, some of it anyway, like the vertical lines are sculpted in, which is nice. And that's just something you don't see. Marvel Legends always do is put this kind of thought into it, because the head would have looked ridiculous because the hood has to go down, right? So I commend them for that. Now, her, not terrible, couple issues, we'll talk about them. One is the way that the hood, so the hood it's too short. So it doesn't quite sit on top of the head and then come down. Like you see, like that's where the shoulder fold is supposed to be. So it should come down, but it doesn't. And you see like the back, like it should all come down a bit more. So that's a bummer. Inside of it, the line work, once again, actually the vertical and horizontal lines, it seems, are sculpted. That's very nice. I love stuff like that. And the paint is all inside those sculpt lines perfectly because they have sculpt lines to use as a guide, which is nice. Head sculpt painted very well. You got the white eyes, the red rim around it, and that was done after a quick airbrush blast of pink on top. Very, very well done. Love it. Ball hinge head, down to there, up to there, so great range, side to side is fine. Shoulders, all this paint on here, it's a white, I guess it's a white, it's a white plastic. The black is painted on pretty well, a little fuzzy around that edge. But on the back, it's painted pretty well. And Marvel Legends always has this problem where they don't get in the gaps or the cracks, so to speak, right there. But overall, it's fine. Ball hinged or ball disc shoulders, getting you up to an extreme angle, and then the swivel goes all the way around. No bicep swivel, but you get an elbow. It is a bit of a stiff joint, so be careful. You will snap the peg. I'm speaking from experience, so use a hair dryer if need be. The line work in there is painted okay on this side, the other side not so much, and we'll talk about that when we get there. These lines don't continue through to the white, which is a bummer, but I'd rather it be this than what we're going to talk about here in a second. Wrist swivel and then hinge, that works well. And then on the other side, on the torso here, you have this little triangle paint there and there. So on the torso, you have 1, 2, 3 paint apps, which is nice. So, here's where some paint apps go wrong. See that? That's a mess. I don't know why they did this additional line. I'm guessing that these were all too far over and they didn't know what to do, so they just tried to do this additional line to try to fix it. I would imagine that this will vary case by case, not entirely sure, but you see they came up short on that end. I don't know. Just kind of a mess. Not the best. Articulation is the same, and on this hand you get the spider shooting hand hinge in the middle of the hand, and swivels just fine. This is so we know that there's basically two female bucks that they use, right? One with the sculpt line underneath the breast, and then one like underneath the rib cage rather, and then one where it's underneath the breast. This is the rib cage one. It's not my favorite. I prefer the one that's under the breast, but still decent range of motion, not much down. Forward, but you get a good bit back. Side to side is okay, and the swivel works fine. Hips, T-jointed ball joints as we're used to. Get you out to there. Front, back is fine. The paint is this is a black piece of plastic with white paint, and the white is done really sharp. Legs, all black plastic with white paint and then turquoise paint. All the paint is done fairly well as well, and they continue the white paint up into the top of the hip, so it actually connects better with the torso. So that's all really clever. Here's the other problem. This joint here, it's something's wrong with it. Now this probably will vary case to case, but like this thigh swivel destroys the skull, but I think that's par for the course. But you see, like this one is a lot tighter. This one is like, it's ugly, is what it is. Double jointed knee, getting you the whole run. Calf swivel, which is stupid. Ankle hinge. That's a little tight. I'm not going to mess with that too much. But that's what it looks like. And rocker. I had to take a blow dryer to this. Rocker's there, but the hinge, yeah, she don't want to move. So I'll fix that later. But all in all, pretty decent figure, just a couple issues. Absorbing Man. So people like to see me build the figure to see how easy or difficult it is to go together, so that's why he's a part. You get this head sculpt, which I will not be using, so we're going to talk about that first. Great sculpt and decent paint on the face. This pupil got a little carried away, but for the most part, pretty good. Wrinkles in the neck. The ears are well sculpted. The eyes are well sculpted. The teeth and all that stuff. The mouth, the grimace, all that stuff looks good. It's a well done sculpt. If they'd have thrown some wash and then some, if it was a company that painted figures, like really painted figures, this would look fantastic. Great customizer potential there. This one is the one that I'm going to be going with. It's kind of got that. This is where the paint comes in, and look what they can do. Like Hasbro has this potential. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. Like look what they did with this paint. Like it's like an airbrush shot. It looks like to me, across this side of the face, and then they dry brushed it with a lighter shade of that color across it. And look how good that looks. The eyes got the black on the eyelids, and then the eye is painted gold. This side's painted really well. Mouth, teeth, all painted really well. That's what kills me, is like they can do it if they want to, and we're going to see a lot more of this as we go on. But these are the two arms we will not be using. One is just a regular human arm without a lick of paint on it. All the articulation's the same as we'll get to. Decent sculpt, just a little plain for what we're going to do. And then this is like a metal type of arm, like he's absorbing a metal, which was hard for me to turn away. The problem is that I like this rock arm, but you get the metal in the rock arm on this side. You get the head with the like the concrete maybe look, and then you get this arm with the concrete. I would have preferred if these two arms would have been interchangeable, so then you could have had metal, rock, and concrete. Do you know what I mean? But that's not the way it is. So that's kind of a bummer, but whatever. And then, but this is all like a black airbrush shot, and then dry brush silver works like a champ. Looks great. Look at that. Kills me. Like these guys, they have the potential. Like they're artists. It's obvious. They just don't get to. They just don't. Like the artists don't get the opportunity to apply their art to these figures a lot of times. It's a shame. All right, for the rest of this stuff, we're gonna go through it. Head, let's get that on. As you can see, it's on a double ball peg. It looks like to me maybe a ball hinge. Actually, yeah. So it's a hinge down inside the torso, which gets you the front and back, and then the ball on the peg. A lot of good sculpt work in there, like the veins and stuff. Great stuff. Yep, that ain't easy. There it is. And once that's on, you pretty much lose the ball joint except for the swivel. You get the hinge, which is fine because then he can look down. I think it'll work okay. Seamless sculpt, but whatever. This arm plugs in here, and that works well. So you get the disc hinge here. The connection point gets you the swivel all the way around, bicep swivel, single hinged elbow, but kind of gets you, I think, enough. Swivel at the wrist and hinge in and out. And then this, same type of thing. It's like a brown airbrush blast, and then dry brushed with a lighter brown. Works like a champ. And that doesn't take much effort or time either. One problem, they didn't do all of it, so you get the skin poking through. But with the way his powers work, I'm kind of okay with it. It's not hateful, you know. It kind of works. So I'm okay with that. As far as the abdomens were there, you get an ab crunch all the way down to there, all the way back to there. So that's great. All the sculpt work and stuff, and the muscle, like the tone work, was fantastic. Belt is a floating piece. You get the waist swivel on there. And then we got T-jointed disc hinges for hips. And we'll see how those work once we got on there. So this arm goes in. Kind of the same thing. This is a little weird here, that they have this blast and then they dry brush it, but it looks like some of the airbrushing got here. This looks like an error to me, which is unfortunate, but because of, once again, the way his powers work, it's not the worst thing that can happen. Very intimidating sculpt, though. Very cool. Alright. This foot. Let's go in. You can always tell which way to go by the wrinkles. The more wrinkles goes closer to the crotch. That's in there. That was an easy apply. So you get the thigh swivel. The disc hinge gets you out to there. It's a little loose, but it holds a pose. And forward to there, back to there. That's really good, actually. Double jointed knee. So that's good. And then you get the swivel, and is this a hinge as well? No, it's a ball joint, and that gets you the ankle rocker. And the black paint on there looks fine. So let's get our last bit on, and as long as this doesn't do anything it shouldn't, we should have a really good Build-A-Figure on our hands. There it is. All the joints work well, yep. Decent unit. So we've already talked about the articulation as we've gone through. Nothing has been hindered by putting it together. Really good Build-A-Figure. This is his weapon. No love went into this. I mean, zero. Along the seam work, you lose the sculpt definition. You see like all this stuff in the ball, which looks okay. It's not like clean work. And then along the seam, you like lose the definition of the sculpt, so that's dumb. Chain looks dumb. I don't even know if he'll hold it. It seems like it should have a handle, no? But I don't know. I'm sure I can heat up the fingers and move them. I'll try to do that when we're off camera. But yeah, sculpt-wise here though, they nailed this thing. Hips are a little loose, but this is a good Build-A-Figure, my friends. Very good Build-A-Figure, which is nice because the wave isn't great. So that's cool. Yeah, except purple pants. Who wears purple pants? Final thoughts wise, I definitely recommend Spider-Gwen. I definitely recommend Absorbing Man, but I'm not sure if he's worth the overall money of buying the rest of the wave. And I'm not sure which order these videos are going to come out in, but just give it some time. Time will tell. Overall, the sculpts are decent. The articulation is good. One problem I have run into is that the hips are a little loose on Absorbing Man, and then the ankles sometimes can pose a bit of a problem versus the sculpt, like the articulation in the ankle versus the sculpt of the pants around it, and then the weapon is dumb. I probably won't be displaying the weapon. But for Absorbing Man, the sculpt is fantastic, the paint is great, the articulation is superb, the size is good, it's just, it's a good figure. And then for Spider-Gwen, it's pretty much the same thing, with the exception of a couple paint issues here and there, and the way that hood fits. But, you know, posed on a shelf, I'll never notice, well, I'll notice it, but most people won't, you know, just looking at it casually because you can't get close enough to it. My Marvel Legends sit up high. But other than that, yeah, I definitely recommend her. If you like enough characters in the set to make this guy worthwhile to you, then go for it. Otherwise, you know, it sucks to miss out on him because he is pretty good, but it's an awful lot of money to spend for what he ultimately is. So hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.